How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of FTB Infinity Evolved. For a moment there, I couldn't remember what the series was called here in Minecraft. Hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far. If you guys have, smash that like button. It really does help out the channel. So, in between episodes, I began the process. Actually, before we get to talk about some of the things for today, I began the process of getting everything set up to get the wrench that we're going to need to start applied energistics. And in order to make this wrench, as you can see, it needs quite a few things. The number one thing that is taking forever, because we don't have enough power, is iridium. Now, we have 4 pieces, and we need to turn all these pellets of RTG fuel and mix it with a little bit of Mox nuclear fuel, 1-to-1, at a rate of 80 million RF per 1 iridium ore. So that is going to take quite some time. We have all our lasers going. We could add more, but it's still going to take quite some time. However, one kind of limitation is... Actually, are these transferring at the proper rate? They are. They are transferring at a full 2400 a tick. One thing to kind of note is, if you remember in the last episode when we had the fortune modifier on our quarry, that's 80 times the power drain. Well, we can't support that with the furnace or the water wheel, those nuclear reactors, and our other generations. So we need to utilize other forms of nuclear reactors. Now, I've been working to try to get these to pump out as much basically depleted rods of uranium as possible. So I've been kind of experimenting with quads, and then I put quad rods here, and then I put singles here to see if we can, if we do the singles, if we're going to get more faster or kind of what have you. It does generate quite a lot less our EU a tick. This generates 420, whereas these 2 on the end only generate 35. So it is a little bit problematic in that regard. I did die because I didn't realize my hazmat suit had broke, so I had to quickly put together a new one of those. Oh, that doesn't go in there. It goes in here. And same with that. So we're going to look at the next part. While we wait for kind of our power to do its thing, let's look at making more power. And so one way to do that is plug and play, or big reactors. So with these, effectively, there's 2 ways, or 2 different types of reactors we can make from big reactors. There are what are known as passive reactors and active reactors. Passive reactors are similar to the EU ones in that we don't really have to do anything. They just generate fuel. Technically, we have to input more fuel rods in, but other than that, they're pretty much passive. We don't have to worry about it. There's no output or input we have to really worry about other than fuel. And otherwise, we get free energy. And so it's similar to this system over here, where we have fuel going in, fuel stockpiles here, fuel goes in here, this makes steam, steam goes here, this generates power, and we're good to go. This would be considered more of an active reactor. So it is actively doing a thing, and it outputs a liquid for us to turn a turbine. Also, side note, I also went ahead and bypassed the charcoal output here, because originally I had it so that this would power the furnaces, but then I found that the system would occasionally stop because this would fill up and these would run out of fuel. So instead what I'm doing is I'm just burning wood to burn wood to turn it into charcoal, because, well, we pretty much have unlimited wood with this. Eventually we might do a bioreactor or something with all the apples and saplings. I do need to change these over to deep stores because they are filling up quite a few of the barrels, but we'll worry about this system later. This has kind of become antiquated, but it is some of our power generation that we need. Anyway, back over to kind of what we're going to be doing today is we're going to look at the reactors. And so the reactor it has you build is what is known as a passive reactor. The active reactor is where we basically build a turbine and have rotors and basically steam and a bunch of other things. I'm not really a fan of the active reactors, partially because they do require a bit more setup, and space, I would much rather just do a passive reactor and worry about that. So a few of the things we're going to need are we're going to need reactor casings, some more reactor casings, partially because these are used for creating other things such as reactor controller. We can't do that yet. Reactor control rod, a reactor access port, and a reactor coolant port. And then this recipe is for the fuel rod, which we're going to have to grab from over here. We do have our suit on. We're going to have to snag one of these pellets, which means we're going to have to get more. That's fine. Basically, we need the plutonium. Let's actually see if our thermal centrifuge is done. It almost is. So as you can see, we get very small amounts of plutonium, so it does take quite a while for us to run through our system here. So let's go ahead and throw those in there for now. So if we go like this, we get a fuel rod. Awesome. So is that everything we need? We need a reactor power tap. Oh no, I forgot to set that up. So power tap is just an MFE. Reactor casings. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab all these things, 'cause, yeah, it's going to take just a bit of grinding, because I got to grind diamonds down. Alright, so I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. And we're back. So, went ahead and made up the reactor power tap, so now all we have to do is figure out where we're going to put our reactor. So the reactor it has us make is a 3x3x3, so not very big. However, eventually we are going to want to build a much bigger one, so we could stick it in one of these rooms. It is quite large for now, but I think the reactor is going to end up being a little bit too big for this room, potentially. So, I thought, okay, well, we could stick it maybe here at the end, because if we look at how wide this is, it's a total of 13 wide from the quarried block to that quarried block. There's 13 grass blocks in between. So we could stick it here in the middle, or we could even stick it kind of recessed into the floor, and then have a height of whatever we need. So we'd be constrained by at least a 13x13 with an interior of, I think, 12x12, depending on what we decide to do with that. I think we'll do that because it should work out pretty well for us. So I think what I'll do is, for now, I'll set the reactor up probably just... Actually, you know what? Let's set it up down here. Let me make sure I have my jetpack on so we can get out of here. Because if we look here, yep, it's all going to be dirt. So if we do something like that. Okay. Do something like... See, does it tell me the particular way? It doesn't show me the proper way to set this up. Let's see, is that gonna... No, I don't think that's gonna work. It says 3x3, but I feel like this is a little bit deceptive. Maybe... Hey, there we go. Yeah, because now we can insert the control rod depending on what we need. Okay. Here's part of the reactor. Okay, looks like we might need a bit of a bigger area for this. Okay. So then I think really a 3x3 is really a 5x5. At least I think so. It's been a minute since I've done this, so bear with me while I try to remember how we did it before inevitably start coming to having to go to the wiki to figure this out. But I think... because it has you make 22 blocks. Oh, crap. Okay, I don't have any torches on me right now, but... okay. Go like that. Like, so we're only giving 22 blocks plus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 28 blocks. It's not a lot to work with. Okay. Yay, backup. Alright, so if we did something like that, so that turns it into... see, but I feel like that's still going to be too big, because the book only has us make 22 casings. One of each of these, so that ends up being 27. Oh, wait. No, that does work. Okay, maybe... yeah, I'm just being dumb about this. I think we had it the first time. There we go. Okay. With power tap there. With ports there. Only part of the reactor's frame. Is it not like that where it's at? Only... there we go. Okay. Use the machine's interior. Okay, I'll have to look at how to set that up. Okay, so actually what we have is we have energy buffer, we have core heat, we have casing heat, and we have core fuel status, basically. So, unlike the EU, or not extra utilities, industrial craft, unlike IC2 and their reactor, which can go boom, it will explode wholeheartedly. I don't believe according to this, I don't remember it actually ever exploding, with no chance of exploding. Okay, that is good. So, tells us how there is a calculator online that you can use to fully simulate this and not have to do a lot of math, which is something I will use because I remember using it quite frequently. And there's also a lot of designs out there about like optimum fuel burn, optimum energy, optimum core temp, and even fuel reactivity, and all that's determined by also how things are, right? So we can put things in. Of course, nothing's going to happen because there's no fuel, there's nothing. You're probably asking, well, how do we deal with that? And that's what these three things are is basically the access port, the coolant port, and the power tap effectively are what allow us to interact with this. May frame. Oh, you know what? I'm betting it's because... Yes. That is why. So the outer frame has to be the reactor casing, and then it's these internal blocks that can be basically on all sides. Like this middle block can be a coolant port. That's why it's being weirdly finicky. Okay, then we can access it, and yep, we can add things into the coolant tank, which is good to know. And then we can also input fuel using the access port. So then we can put the yellowrium? Yeah, yellowrium ingots in, which are basically just uranium for big reactors. And the nice part is we don't get irradiated, or at least I'm pretty sure, although it could just have been coincidental because we do have the hazmat suit on. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dig this area out, set hopefully everything up that we're going to need, and then I'll bring you back when it's time to start like putting in the coolant and stuff, because I do want to go over that. But first I'm going to get the frame built out, get this area dug out, and kind of get everything set up. But I just wanted to show you guys what the little guy is going to look like. And so now we're going to set up the much bigger guy, and I will be right back with that. And we're back. Alright, so just finishing up getting some more fuel for our reactor. And so if we go take a look at said reactor, before we do that, I want to charge up my jetpack. But we'll talk about what we need to do to cool it. So in order to cool it, we need cryothium, which is actually not too hard to make. It's effectively the opposite of pyrothium, which pyro meaning fire, cryo meaning cold. Well, not directly, but for our purpose, it does. So we need snow, niter or saltpeter, blizz powder, and electrotine. We can mine this, we can dig this from the snow biome, and this we should have some stockpile of, or we can get it from the nether actually. But in order to make the blizz powder, we can either go kill blizzes, or I think that's what their name is, blizz. We can just put some redstone on some snowballs and get blizz powder. So we do need to go to somewhere with snow. Luckily there is a mountain range just to our north we can go harvest some snow from. And yeah, so let's go take a look at our reactor while we wait for our iridium to craft, which I'll probably spend quite a lot of time in between episodes waiting, because my goal next episode is to start ME storage, or at the very least kind of get a lot of that preparation done. So here we have our 11 by 11. In the middle we have our 8 basically fuel pillars. Each one of these fuel rods required one of those fuel cakes of plutonium, which was not cheap and quite time consuming to kind of wait around for, but nevertheless, here we are. We did have some stockpiled from earlier, but and I did have to pull some from our iridium, so it will take some time. But if you remember, each one's 80 million RF, so by the time we get near the end, we'll hopefully have more. So what we have is we have access port, we have cooler port, our controller, we have our power tap, and then we can use reactor glass so that we can see inside. So each of these spaces, basically all this open space, is going to be filled with this cryothium. Now, one thing to note is not every single block needs to be filled with it, just the top layer, and then it can flow down. So each column, so we only need 121, well actually minus 8, because the 8 blocks here. So 114 buckets of cryothium, and so one dust makes 100 millibuckets, and it's 1000 millibuckets to make a bucket, so Yeah, so it's basically 10 of these to 1 of these. And we need 114. So basically, we need 1,140 dust. So we're going to need quite a lot of these components. So I'm going to go gather that up now. And try not to melt my brain over the fact that I will probably be spending the next 2 to 3 hours gathering all these components. So I'll see you guys back in, well, you guys are going to see it instantly. I'm going to be here for a good time. All right, I'll see you guys here in a minute. And we're back. Still, I have encountered a small problem. That being, crap. I gathered all the things, all the components we needed. However, if we take a look, it is not a fluid that flows down, but rather a fluid that itself moves. The source block does not stay where you put it. So we are going to have to fill this entire thing with this, which means quite a lot of farming. I think what we'll do to get the snowballs is either make a... I thought there was a thing that made them. Okay, actually, we might be able to farm them with the pure daisy then. Put water next to it and then snow. Then the snow turns into 4. Okay, that might be something we'll look at then. As for the niter, this is just going to be a pain in the butt. That I think is just going to be the biggest pain. Alright, well, I think that's where we're going to call it for today. I'm sad that we weren't able to get the reactor going, but it is going to hopefully be going by next episode. If I have to, I'll take out what I have, fill in as much as I can. I think resonant ender flows. I'll have to check though, otherwise we can do that. I'm definitely kind of annoyed that we weren't able to get this to work today, but hopefully by next episode we have it working. Yeah. I'm kind of disappointed. Oh well. I will see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, you guys know what to do. Smash that like button if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about what I worked on or kind of anything that you didn't really see or you don't really understand about this, definitely leave a question, comment, or concern down below. I'll try to answer it as best I can, or at the very least try to point you in the right direction or something. And that, if you also haven't already, make sure you guys smash that subscribe button, as it really does help out, support the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Peace out.